Welcome, Kriss Vector fans. Daniel here. This is going to be episode 2 of a discussion of my Kriss Vector in 9mm. I've had it for approximately 5 years now, and it's a platform that I really like. I've used it competitively in pistol caliber carbine events, and it's just been a great range gun and self-defense tool that I've had with me for some time now. I'll tell you the things I really like about it and things that I have just learned along the way dealing with the maintenance and reliability of this platform, which has been great, by the way, which has been absolutely great. I'm also an administrator on the Facebook page, Kriss Vector Owners USA. So you can find me there on Facebook. All right, moving on. What are some of the most common questions that somebody has either asked me directly or I see constantly on the forum? What type of magazines are the best? Well, there are several types that are available. You have these type that come from SGM. These are basically Glock pattern magazines that are, I want to say these ones made in USA. These ones are made, let's see here, Max. No, these are actually made in Korea. By SGM, and though most of these have worked without issues. However, I did have a few where inside this polymer outer there's a metal liner, and inside the metal liner there's a series of holes. Well, obviously back here the witness holes for your round count, but also along the sides. And sometimes the flash is what it's called, is when the plastic injection molding, kind of that stuff that squishes out the edges of the mold, will actually enter in the metal liner, and sometimes it will catch the follower in some places, or even especially here up at the top, where I've had to pull apart this entire mag, pull the spring, the follower out, and either take a Dremel or an X-Acto knife and actually cut my way off some of that flash where this follower was hiding. But as far as the design and reliability, I would say it was only just one out of probably maybe the 10 that I own, 10 or more of these own. I mentioned that I did have a bunch of these, in storage, and I purchased them when they were really cheap. I think I got these things on sale for about 13 bucks a piece. Good luck finding them at these prices now. Now, there is another manufacturer, which name escapes me, that are Korean mags that is not SGM. Those magazines, I do have a few, excuse me, and I did have some problems with them feeding, so they were more of a novelty. So I would stay away from the Korean mags that are not SGM branded. My go-to magazine, other than the Glock, is probably these ETS group magazines. These are kind of translucent magazines. And they are very smooth. They are smooth on the inside, and in fact the injection points for the plastic is on the outside, so they're smooth on the inside. And I have not had any real problems with these magazines. However, if you do shoot them suppressed, you'll notice that mine is a little bit more smoky towards the top, that when you get blowback, some of the soot goes into the magazine, and if you shoot suppressed a lot, that will actually inhibit the pusher, the follower, to push and move freely. So sometimes it does get hang up where you can just tap and rack and it fixes the problem, but that's because of the soot is actually inhibiting it. So all you got to do is get yourself a bottle brush, put your little CLP on there, or some, a mild solvent, and scrub the inside of the mag, and then it's brand new and go back to fully functioning. But these are probably, I would say, have been the most reliable. And you can leave them stored for a really long time. They don't bulge. They're very durable magazines, and they got a great warranty. So if you do happen to have a problem with them, just contact the folks at ETS and they'll hook you up. So I got some PMags. These are standard capacity 17 rounders. These run absolutely fine. You see, this is the soot that I was talking about. When you run it suppressed, it gets very dirty inside the magazines. And of course your Glock factory magazines run absolutely fine, and I got some long ones too. I just don't have it out on the table with me, But if you want this design, right, you want, just get the authentic Glock ones, if you can find them nowadays. All right, so what about the drum? Do the drum work? Yes, but I do have to put a caveat on that. The caveat being is that you can damage the internals of your drums, of your gun, excuse me, if you're not careful. And I really hope that this shows up on here. You'll see that I had to do a little bit of modification to the top of the feed lip. And that's because it was impacting a portion on the inside of the gun, which I'll show you now. So all I did was just take I think it was just a razor, and I just shaved this off, and I had to make a little cut in here to allow for clearance of, I think it's the part of the ejector that goes inside the Kriss Vector. So this is the only modification I had to do to this, and I'll explain to you why. This is a feature that I really love about the Kriss Vector, is that these pins, and by the way, these are the same pins that are used on the H&K G3 and Sent Me platform. So I hate to do this to Kriss, but man, you guys are charging way too much money. Just go get your surplus gun website and look for H&K G3, H&K 91 G3 push pins, and these are the exact same ones. And then go in there, and they're often really cheap. All right, so the part that I was talking about before, right? So here is your 9mm lower receiver. Here is the ejector, right here. And when you insert the magazine, it does this. And as you see, it sits on the left part of the feed lip. The way it was that this feed lip was bending this metal piece up to the point where it was restricting the movement of the bolt that slides immediately right on top of it. And you see, yeah, it is dirty because I do shoot it suppressed quite often, and that's what happens to it. Anyways, so as a slide, it would cause the bolt to seize at this point, or, you know, being inside the gun, it would be like this, right? So it would recoil and it would seize right here. And I was like, what the heck is going on with the gun? And fortunately, it only bent it up just enough where I was able to bend that down straight to where it was supposed to be. So in order to use this magazine, I had to, as I mentioned before, just shave the left portion of that. I'm talking maybe 2mm with a X-Acto knife to get that to clear and to get this magazine to prevent that from happening. Now, I have not had that problem, and the bolt just came out, with any of these other mags, right? Like this is the ETS group. I actually have some tolerance that goes in there like that. And I also mentioned that if you're on, while I have the gun apart, and you're at the range and you're doing this, right? And using the magazine to brace yourself, or you're just constantly slamming this home, you're gonna bend this part home back, and then it's gonna cause all kinds of problems for you to, with cycling of the bolt. So just something to be cognitive of. You can do that to your AR, you can do that to your AK, and a myriad of other platforms, but you cannot do it to the Kriss Vector because you run the risk of denting this thin metal piece that will obstruct the bolt. Also, okay, there's also a metal piece in here that I will talk more about later. You want to get a replacement one of these as well, because this part here is prone to breaking, and it's good to have one or two of these on standby just to replace this part if you have to. But more on that later, right? I don't want to get too far down my presentation here. All right, let me put this back together real quick. Yeah, in order to put this back together, you got to have this, the top part, otherwise it will not go into place. Right there. So as I'm putting this back together, reliability issues, break-ins. I did not have any real reliability issues during break-in for this gun. It breaks in very easy. There was no real like cycling issues, or I had to use like a hotter 9mm plus P load or anything like that. I could pretty much was shooting Winchester white box back when you can find that at Walmart so long ago. And I've just been running pretty much windshield for white block, some remanufactured 115s, 147 when I'm shooting suppressed, only because they're subsonic, and I haven't had any issues with 9mm. As long as it's, what is it called, SAMI spec, I haven't had any issues with that, running that. Suppressor use. Oh boy, I love talking about this suppressor use. Every once in a while, somebody will ask the question, what is the best suppressor to use for the Kriss Vector? And I always get a kick out of the responses, because the responses are usually, the best suppressor to use is the suppressor that whatever the poster or the respondent has. If they have an AC, or if they have a rugged, that is going to be the best suppressor, when really it's not a truthful answer, because nobody can really say which is the best suppressor unless they've tried them all. And for the 9mm, there are hundreds of different types of versions of 9mm cans that are available for that fit this platform. I myself have just 2 9mm cans. Here's my Liberty Mystic X that I used to run on here. Right here, this is so you could run rifle cartridges through this 9mm can. So you can see that the flexibility in this can here. I used to run this, just it was my thread-on can, and it did very well. It gave me good suppression. It was reliable. It was repeatable accuracy. It satisfied that need. And then a few months down the road, I got this rugged, what is this, Obsidian 9 can. And this is my go-to can for this specific platform, because it's modular, it's easy to clean. It comes with the tri-lug, the H&K tri-lug mounting option, which is fantastic and repeatable, by the way. For me, mine, and this might mount different for you, this is 1/2 by 28 threaded for the 9mm version. And I put it on with the, the rugged up top, and I twist it on. And then I look for the little arrow logo on here, the little arrowhead logo that they put on there. As long as that's to the 1 o'clock, that is in the same position that this can is orientated in anytime that I use it. Ergo, gives me that repeatability that I'm looking for. So I'm really happy with this can. Is it the best? I don't know, but I know with 9mm cans, the difference is only going to be just a few decibels. And if your ears are so sharp that you can tell the difference between 1 or 2 decibel in shot, then 1, you're not wearing ear pro, and then 2, it's not going to be that great of a difference between can. The rule of thumb is the longer or wider the can, the greater the volume, the total volume of the can, the better your suppression is going to be. But therefore, the greater your volume, the larger the can. So if you're looking for a compact modular can, in my opinion, this rugged Obsidian 9 with the outstanding warranty, and I've met the folks at Rugged many times, and they stand by their products. Absolutely. This is a machined body. It's not something that's rolled and welded together. This is a very durable can, and they absolutely stand by their products. And I met them many times at NFA Review Channel shoots down when I lived in Florida. So for me, this rugged Obsidian 9 worked great for this platform, and I plan on keeping it with this platform for a long time. Okay, it also works great on my Glock 17. Okay, what about the best optic? Yes, I have this old, I think this is probably the Generation 3 EOTech. Forgive me, the name escapes me, the 551 AA battery model. Yeah, it is a little bit heavy, but man, this thing is utterly reliable and durable. And I got the good people at EOTech to replace my damn near 8-year-old first generation EOTech because they had a lawsuit with the Department of Defense, and they had to refund or exchange some people's older EOTechs because of a very minor trivial thing having to do with the windage that would change in very extreme circumstances. To me, I thought the whole lawsuit was bunk, but I digress. None of the case. I love this EOTech. I also have a HoloSun that I had on it for a while too, and that one worked absolutely fine. I just prefer on this platform, for me, my eyes, I prefer this EOTech. What about the iron sights that I have on here? Well, back for you guys that remember or maybe have one of the first generation Kriss Vectors, it came with diamond head sights that looked very much like this, but I believe that they were metal. This is the plastic version, which is substantially cheaper, that I think look great for this platform. I think they're really good quality ones. Most of you guys probably have the emboss ones on here. That just pinched my finger. And but these ones here, this is not tritium. I don't need it to be, especially at this price point. This is just glow in the dark. It still glows in the dark, and I've had this thing, like I said, probably about 4 years with these on here. It does have a large and a small aperture for 9mm. I leave it at pretty much the large aperture size, and I don't mind that it has a rather large front sight post. For 9mm, you're not going to get to sub MOA. I'm just going to tell you, I don't care what kind of 9mm you're running, out of a 5.5-inch barrel, even with a stock on it, you're not going to get sub MOA. So I do not need a fine front sight post that you might see on an AR-15. I do enjoy the fine dot, but I know I'm not going to ever get to that level of precision with this style of platform, right? Because you're still, at the end of the day, you're kicking out a 9mm bullet. Okay. So for me, these ones work great. I think they look great on here. They fit the look of the gun, and yeah, I had emboss mag pulls, and those were fine too. And I've seen lots of other styles, but like I said, for me, these ones work great. Absolutely. All right, where are we at? Optics. Let's have questions. All right, factory lube and cleaning. I personally use a very thin coat of this Miltech 1 grease. The best way to apply the grease is to have it really warm, the parts that you're trying to apply it to, per Miltech's own guidance. I heat up the parts with the hair dryer to the point where they're hot to the touch, and then I apply the grease to get that metal penetrating effect. And I haven't had any issues running this. Again, I do not gob the stuff on. It is a really thin coating. Otherwise, I use this stuff here, the Break3 Battleborn High Purity OR2. I don't want to get into an oil debate because, I mean, I know folks that run Mobile 1 pure synthetic in all of their guns, and they swear by it, and that's a totally fine thing to do. Okay, but that's just me. That's what I run on it. And you don't need to clean this platform very often. It's not like a direct impingement gun that kind of gets a lot of the soot on the parts that make it function, specifically the piston. So this gun you can run dirty and you won't have any problems with it. I've had this thing, I don't know, probably about 500 rounds go through it before I'll actually clean it. This gun can run dirty and not have any kind of cycling issues. It's another great reason for this gun, if you're in the market for this kind of thing. So I love that it has a little storage grip. Type in the comments, what do you guys put in your storage grip? That's what I want to know. What do you put in here? I personally, right now, have some AA batteries for my EOTech. And there's probably a small screwdriver in here for the sights. But that's all you would ever need in here. And this is how I choose to sling it. The way it hangs is the best for me. And this is my sling option. Simple, right? No need to buy anything fancy. Yeah, they make one up here, but I found myself that it would interfere with the sights, and I didn't want that interfering with my sights at all. So I know the next generation of this style stock, this style stock probably has additional sling loops on it, so you can get that, but for me, this will do for now. Okay, recommendations, right? I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Don't ever do this with your Vector. And most of you guys do this at the range, and that's fine to do it with other platforms. But this right here will cause you all kinds of problems. So you're at the range shooting this thing, and you're slamming it home like this. You're using this as a rest. This right here will cause that part to bend that I was showing you when I had the drum magazine and I had the gun broken down. That piece of metal to bend. This constantly of setting it down on your shooting bench or going prone, if you're doing that, you cannot go rest the magazine while it's in the gun on this platform, because you're going to cause all kinds of internal problems there. Yeah, so I just want to bring that point. So if you guys are having problems with your Vector, I would check that piece of metal that I showed you before. I think that's the ejector, that if it's bent up and touching the bolt as it's going forward, it's going to cause all kinds of problems for you. So just gently bend it down. You don't have to bend it down below just 180 degrees or the plane, right? Just it goes flat. Okay, spare parts. Yeah, before I get there, I just want to let you know, let's see if you guys know that this magazine catch, right, there's 2 screws that attach to another plastic piece that is the magazine catch. This is the same exact magazine catch that is used in the Glock 17. You want to get the extended one to give you just enough reach to get across the width of the mag well here. But it is just nothing more than a Glock factory extended magazine catch. So that said, if you want to change it a different color, or you want to try aluminum, or maybe you want to try one that will extend past here, or maybe a little bit further, you're welcome to try that. You can do that. Or just, take off this top part here, and whatever end is on your extended, because, there's all kinds of Glocks. Possibilities, but I don't want to talk too much into that. But I just want to let you know that that is, in fact, a Glock OEM, Glock Model 17 extended magazine catch. Okay, parts. Other question I get is, what parts do you recommend? All right, well, here they are. I have a few of them. First part I recommend is the Kriss Vector slide rebuild kit. It comes with a spring and 2 bumpers, and it's pretty cheap, right? So for longevity of the spring and cycling and maintenance of your gun, I recommend that part there. Next part is the charging handle spring kit. Why? Because it's extremely cheap, and it's just a few bucks, and it gives you a very proprietary spring, and I don't know, this is the catch that the spring actually goes to a part that you will touch and use quite frequently. Basically, this is the return spring for this, right? The spring that brings it back forward. Not so much this way, because that's the spring for bringing it back to the body, but the spring that actually pulls it back forward, that's that. So you want that. Next part is the Kriss Vector bolt lock kit. Now, as I was mentioned before, I've actually broken this part, and to get this out, there's a very small C-clamp, and the good people at Kriss even gave you one of those, which you will probably lose, because this is a part that you will tug and pull on, and it will only come off after it's been launched into oblivion, and you will have to be on your hands and knees searching for it. So it's very good that they have given you an additional C-clamp. I'm sure you could probably find this at Lowe's somewhere, but they give it to you here. I recommend that you use it. And they even give you the small bar that goes across. So basically the C-clamp connects to that small piece that's in there. So this is a recommended piece. This is a Kriss Vector bolt lock trigger kit. Recommend you get that. Next piece is some safeties. Now, this isn't really a necessary piece. Actually, I think this came with the bolt buffer kit. And I just threw these safeties that are in there. So they won't come with safeties, just to let you guys know. This is actually a bolt buffer. So I got some screws that are on the bottom of the bolt and the bumper. Why are they green? I don't think it's any different or better. It's just, I think it's a different color. So I got plenty of these bumpers to go because I plan on owning this Kriss Vector for a very long time. I just purchased these Gen 2 A2 body because they're a little bit longer than the Gen 2 A1 safeties that this gun came with. So I wanted to get just a little bit longer and it's a little easier reach. This here is the Gen 2 body. We all know that this one, this one pivots, right? This one pivots, and the first generation was more of a linear motion, right? It went back. So Kriss had went that this is a better design, which I think it is. And later on, there is a very easy trigger mod that you can do, but that's a whole nother video. Okay. So yeah, I upgraded the safeties to the Gen 2 A2 type. And I also purchased an additional buffer. Next thing, right here, this is a bolt repair kit. So it comes with the spring that's in the bolt. It comes with a spring detent for the ejector, or excuse me, the extractor. Even comes with one of the little tiny pins, and it comes with a brand new firing pin. So there is several versions, and it depends on the caliber that you have. So make sure that you purchase whatever caliber that you need. Like for example, this ejector is 9mm, and you'll see on the website in the drop-down boxes 45 ACP or whatever caliber that you have. So those are the parts that you recommend, that I recommend that you get. I will get another bolt in 9mm, and I'm looking very closely at a 45 ACP vector as well in the near future. Also, the best time to get these parts is near any federal holiday. For example, Christmas is coming up. They will have anywhere between 10, I think maybe 15%, maybe one time I saw. Just look out for their specials. They usually include free shipping. So those are the best times to get this. And if you subscribe to Kriss's email, you will get notification, or on their Facebook page, they always put notification that they are having some type of sale. And I recommend that you wait till one of those and then purchase these parts from the good folks at Kriss, because we all know that nobody else makes parts for this thing except for the manufacturer. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much the things that I have learned along the way about the Kriss Vector here, and I wanted to share them with you. Please like the channel, continue to subscribe, hit the little bell icon. I am working on, getting some better graphics, but right now I'm not monetized, and I'm just doing this on my own for you guys. So, until that happens, then maybe we can start getting some fancy graphics. But right now, this is pretty much, I'm giving it to you guys cut and dry, and these are the facts as I see them. So hope you guys liked the video. Thank you very much for watching. Daniel out.